This is McCook's Mr. Bill. It's an honor to have you here. 100 years ago, 1918, my mother was born. Edna Moss was her name. Down there in Kansas. She was born in a house that they lived in, on the farm that they lived on. And she was just about ready for school before they got their first pickup car, if you will, but it was a pickup. And because the farm could utilize that a lot better, she said she rode in the back of that pickup an awful lot, bouncing around. Because they had 6 kids, so not everybody could fit in the front. With that in mind, though, she had to walk a mile to school each way, and except for bad weather, Dad would take her. But with that in mind, that was how it was. She did good in grade school. And she also, before and after school, she had to go get the cows, bring them in so that they could be milked. That was her job, and she did it. After grade school, she wanted to go on to high school, but that only high school was in town. That was 20 miles away. No way to get there and back every day. And so what they did back then, they didn't have nursing homes. But what they did is they had the country kids that needed to come in and stay. They could stay with those older people, mostly women, and stay with them and take care of them. And they'd get free room and board, and they could then go to high school. That's what she did, though she was very lonely and homesick. But she did it. And she got her high school education. In fact, she was valedictorian of her class. Now that says something. But she didn't have enough money to go on to college. But they allowed them back then to take a test after they got out of high school. And if they had a high enough score, they could teach at a country school. Because the other teachers, regular teachers, did not want to teach out there. They paid $40 a month to teach at a country school. Plus you had to be the janitor, teacher, everything. And compared to in town, they paid $45 to $50. $50. But the downside also, all the teachers back then didn't get paid at all during the summer, so they had to get a second job. Well, she taught the first year, and that summer she didn't have any way to make money, you know. Her jobs seemed to be dried up. And her cousin was 10 years older than her, and she had married a man, and he traveled all over the country. He was a professional gambler when it was illegal to do that. I'm here to tell you. And so what they would do, they'd go to the big cities, everything from Omaha, Chicago, all around the country, Denver. Never knew where they might be. And so, but the woman had gotten sick. Her cousin was sick. And so she called to see if somebody could help, because it was going, whatever she had, it was going to take a couple of months to heal her up. And so my mother agreed, and they agreed to pay her the $40 that she was getting for the school just to be there to take care of her. And so that's what she did. And it was an eye-opener for this country girl to go to the big cities and in an apartment. You bet. It was beyond spooky and scary and exciting at the same time. Not counting the man, he would go to a given city and spread the word around at the different bars that he was going to have a game. So people would come in and gamble. Mostly poker is what they played. And she said there was not unusual at a end of a different, a week's time when they were ready to leave. They never stayed over 1 week because, again, it was illegal what they were doing. And so they would get as much as $10,000 a head at some places. And other places, he would almost be financially devastated. The cards would go against him, I guess is the best way to say it. And he always kept, though, an extra $500 hidden away that he would not use for them to survive and start all over again. And that's how they did it, traveling around the country. And she did that for the next 2 months through that summer with them till the woman got to feeling better. They also would not have any children because they had to travel and they didn't want any noise. They wanted to be as low profile as possible when they were having these gambling things that would last, nothing unusual to see them go 30-hour games. My mother, I asked her if she watched any. She said she had orders not to, but to be in the other room with the sick cousin, because they said if the cops would bust in, they'd have a hard time busting her then if she wasn't in the same room. But that was just one of the many stories my mother had. And unfortunately, I didn't get her on tape talking about that. So I tell that, and what a wonderful woman she was. And if you knew nothing else about her, though, never forget, she adopted me out of an orphanage when 24 families said no to me. I owe that woman everything. Thank you for your time.